What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another week on The Final Points. I'm your host, Dom Cintorino, joined as always by Matt Gannon. Matt, boots on the ground again, huh?
Boots will be on the ground heading up to Cromwell, Connecticut, Saturday morning with the one and only Brian Kirshner. It's going to be a fun weekend. I hope we have some outrights and DFS lineups to sweat. I always love being on the ground, so it's going to be fun.
You're in a pretty good area for that. There's only one realistic one that I can ever get to, and that was like 2-3 years ago they started coming back to Michigan. But I did have boots on the ground for a little LPGA action last week, so that's about as close as I'm probably going to get this year. We'll see where it takes us, but golf is golf.
If I wasn't going this week, the LPGA is at Congressional this week, so I was thinking about going to that, but
yeah,
obviously rather go to Traveler. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. I wish I was going to go all 4 days, but it's what it is.
Yeah, only so much you can do. There's only so much time in the day. So,
right.
TPC River Highlands, what are you looking at specifically? I kind of talked to Sam yesterday about my process in weighing putting in a little bit more. Obviously, I was looking at a lot of proximity buckets again, just because a lot of these par fours from 400 to 450 yards are going to give these guys similar shot distances. I looked at a handful of guys in their approach shots throughout all 4 rounds last year here, and a majority of them, Matt, were 125 to 175. The long hitters, the short hitters, we're all falling into those buckets. So again, looking at those 2 hot ranges and kind of going from there. What are you looking at this week?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are looking at driving accuracy. I'm also obviously looking at that. Can't hurt, but total driving again, because longer is better, and longer and in the fairway is even better. We saw some bombers dominate here, Bubba Watson, and so he wasn't always in the fairway, but total driving, he was pretty high. So I wasn't really too high on that stat, but it led me to success last week at the PGA. And I think it's another good stat this week, because these aren't by any means like really, really, really tight fairways that you're going to have to like be deadly accurate like we see some other courses, but you're going to have to be accurate. And if you're a complete driver of the golf ball, like I said at RBC Canadian, if Rory McIlroy gains 5 strokes with his driver or more, he's winning. And if he does that again, he might win again. So total driving is going to be huge, I think, this week, because you can't score if you're not in position to score.
Yeah, and speaking of distance, the 15th is playing under 300 yards. It's got a higher eagle rate percentage than the par 5 6th. So I texted you earlier. I didn't know there was such a stat, but eagles on par 5s or par 4s. There's literally a stat on PGA's website for that. So I had to give it a click, of course, when there's a par 4 that you can get to. Definitely, I'm gonna throw that stat in there when we get going here. But are you looking at putting at all? Because, like I said, the thing that my takeaway was, like, 2020, everyone who finished inside the top 10 gained strokes putting, and then all of the 18 golfers who finished T13 or better last year gained strokes putting. Then the top 9, everyone who finished inside the top 5 last year, there's 9 golfers. They all gained strokes from 25 and out, and there was a lot of guys who made like 2 to 5 25 footers last week. Obviously, that's going to push you towards the top, but it's not. You don't have to be making 25 footers to win the event. It's just something that I kind of noticed in terms of how far these putts were.
Yeah, I not necessarily looking at putting. I never really look at putting because of how volatile it is, but there is something to make this week because it's the rare Northeast bent POA blend that we don't really get like ever. We get it. We had a similar greens last week, but I wouldn't really make too much of those because it was a major. They're a lot faster, and we see some similar greens at in Detroit. So you can take a look at it. I did take a look at it. Wrote some guys down that popped, but they didn't really compare to the ball striking stats, so I kind of threw it out. I never really like to weigh in putting too heavy, but I mean, if you're good at it, it can't hurt you here. So, if you, it's not really too much.
Right. Then looking at last year's leaderboard, I pulled the DraftKings pricing again from where these guys kind of were, and I did it in terms of betting perspective last night on the point spread. But Harris English won the event. He was $8,200 last year. He beat Kramer Hickok in a playoff, who was $6,500. There were also 4 other guys in the top 10 who came in the 6K range. Only one guy, Brooks Koepka, was 10-7. He was the only one that was in the 10K range. 9, couple 8, 7 scattered in there, but seeing like all these 200-1 guys in the 6K range push their way inside the top 10, it's worth considering this week because the 6K range really isn't that bad.
Yeah, no, you can. I definitely have some guys in the 6K range I'm going to play, and there's going to be guys in the 6K range that are going to finish in the top 10. That's just the way this course is, the volatility of this course. And it's not like it's the most insane field. It is a good field, but it's not like it's the most insane field. Some of these lower guys are going to compete for sure.
Yeah, it's deep enough to the point where you're not getting a guy you never heard of at 6K. It's deep enough to that extent, at least. So let's get into it. $10,000 and higher. Obviously, the Justin Thomas withdrawal earlier. Was that today or yesterday? Today, right?
This morning. That was this morning.
Yeah. It all blends together now. But Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy, only 2 above 11K. It's rounded out by Sam Burns, Patrick Cantlay, and Xander Schauffele. Matt, I think we're finally on the same guy up here.
I don't know if we are.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, PC?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were going to say like Rory or something because I was on Rory, but I got rid of him. Yeah, PC. How could you not be on PC? Except for we got it. Did you see my tweet today? Did you hear his quote?
My Bluetooth cut off as I was watching it.
So to summarize, he basically said, honestly, I'm going to play it. I'm going to show it on the stream and see.
Let's hear it. Let everyone hear it. Yes.
All right. Oh, this is Rory. 1 second. Let me pull this up real quick. I have it right here. So Patrick Cantlay in his interview this morning with just his normal Wednesday interview, a lot of guys do them. This is what he had to say when he got asked about the live.
Have they made you an offer, and do you have any interest in it? My team handles all that kind of stuff, whether it be just any of the sponsors that I have or anything in that department. I haven't had any direct contact with them recently, so I really, I don't have anything like that outstanding.
That voice sounds nervous. That voice sounds nervous. That voice sounds like he didn't want to answer that question. So, what do you want?
My team. He said my team handles that. So that's basically saying right now, no. That's all I got out of that.
Yeah. Well, yes, I also agree with you, but it seemed like he didn't want to say the wrong thing. He didn't want to
get kicked out of the Travelers. Right there.
He didn't. It was very weird the way he handled it, and he seemed very unprepared. So that I was on him before that, and I feel like he wouldn't be here if he didn't want to win. This is the course he's made. This is the course he had his most career starts at, 3 straight T15s, I believe. So, I mean,
yeah.
The course fit is amazing. We don't have to pound the stats. He's Patrick Cantlay. But that quote was very, very interesting. And like we see all the withdrawals coming. Like, I do love him here, and I know you do too. You're going to obviously touch on him statistically, but I just had to bring that up because the quote was just crazy.
Yeah, that is for sure. So my thing on Cantlay, you mentioned the course for him, all those top 15s heading in. But does a T15 win you a tournament paying $10,200? No, but it's at least consistency. There's a level of comfort with Patrick Cantlay and TPC River Highlands, obviously. I mean, 2011 as an amateur, I think he was 19 years old playing at UCLA still. He finished T24, had a second round 60, so 10 under, which was a course record at the time before Furyk took him over in 2016. But Matt, the things that I was looking at, like last week at the US Open T14, had a pretty hot putter. It's finished inside or just outside the top 10, which is what you like to see here. Second on tour this season in birdie or better percentage from 150 to 175, which I already touched on is going to be a pretty popular range this week. And then a stat that I look at every now and then on the tour's website is par breakers, so combination of birdies and eagles because you're going to need a little bit of both here.
I did not even know that was a thing.
Sixth on the season. So Patrick Cantlay is a guy that I'm looking at, especially now with the withdrawals above him. 10,200 is a extremely fair price, and I have no worries. I'm not even a Cantlay guy. You know this.
No, me neither. I'm not a Cantlay guy either. Whenever I'm against Cantlay, he seems to make literally every single putt, i.e. Bryson, Caves Valley, sweat, worst day of my life. But so hopefully the one time I do play Cantlay, I'm not clipping this, what I'm saying right now, and he loses 5 strokes putting the one time I play Cantlay. So I hope he has, usually when I bet these ball strikers, and I got to be like, please have a good putting performance. Please have a good putting performance. But like, that's kind of like built in with Cantlay. You know, he's going to putt it well. He's on a surface that he knows he can roll it. Like I said, he's made his most career starts here. And fun fact about that 60 that he shot, that was the second round of his like debut, but he played 18 holes that same morning. He played 36 holes that day. So he was like, played his morning round, then got lunch. Then he was like, I'm locked in. I'm about to go shoot 60. He just did it. So we know he's comfortable around here. I love Patrick Cantlay, and people should love him as well because I'm seeing him as one of the highest owned guys in this range, if not the highest owned guy, especially with that JT withdrawal. Some ownership's going to go probably toward him.
I would agree. I think people are going to go down the 600 rather than find $200 more and change their lineup up a bunch, because going down that $600, you could get a $6,800 guy into the low sevens. It's obviously more appealing because people have doubts when it gets down there a little bit. But outside of up here, Matt, when I'm building lineups, it seems to just be Cantlay, Scheffler. I just don't want to doubt Scheffler at this point.
Yeah,
and given the feet, like, I don't know why he's playing so much. It's actually kind of annoying.
I listened to his presser today also, and he said he was like, yeah, I'm a guy who likes to play a lot. And he's basically saying while he's at his best, because he knows in the next few years he wants to start a family and stuff like that, he's going to keep playing and play as good as he can for as long as he can. So like, he's here to play. He's here to win. I went to this event last year and with Kirshner, actually, that was where me and him met, and we followed Scotty for a while, and that was before Scotty was Scotty. And me and Brian always say to this day, like, we invented Scotty. Like, we just joke around saying that. He went on number 4. He went driver, and like made like an eagle or like a tap in birdie. Shout out Brian Kirshner. And then he just faded on the weekend. So we know he's kind of comfortable around here. Now he has Ted Scott on the bag, which is obviously Bubba's old caddy, and we know Bubba's success here. I think Scotty is could really play well. He did say he had some mental fatigue, but everyone has mental fatigue, and we know what Scotty Scheffler is. Sadly, I'm not going to be getting to him just because the way I went 100% Cantlay in my 20 lineups. 100%.
Really?
I don't think you've ever done that.
I was going to say, I don't think you've done that yet.
Never done that. And then as my other guy, I was going to go 50% Rory. But today, I switched that to Sam Burns. And I was going to switch it because of ownership, and then I listened to his presser, and he was basically saying how this is his 4th week playing in a row, and he is like gassed. And he's saying he's gassed, but he's playing because he feels like his game is well. He's playing well, and the convenience of the location from the U.S. Open.
Right.
But he said he was gassed, so I don't want to play a Rory that actively says he's gassed. And Sam Burns just goes about things so low key, and he's just his stats are so good. From 125 to 150, he ranks 16th. 150 to 175, he ranks 69th. He is 30th on tour in total driving, and then like we know what he does with the putter. Like, I don't have to kill you on Sam Burns stats. He's a prolific winner. Like 8th in my model, great. 10-4, I'll take it, and lesser owned than Rory. I think, and Birdie Fest, we know how I always say that Sam Burns wins these -15 to -17 events. Like, it's his job, which it is.
Yeah.
And he kind of struggles a little bit more in majors, but he did well last week. So good form, a winner, good price. I like Sam Burns a lot. And I never really play Sam Burns because I feel like I don't like relying on the putter, and I feel like he's always a bit much for me, but I'm playing.
That was the one thing that almost got me there was all the putting, the fast greens, bent POA mix. Like, obviously he puts well on just about any surface, but so you have Burns in how many?
I think he's in half of them. So he's in 50%.
So you got a decent 6K core then.
3 guys. Yep.
Okay. So yeah,
Out of my 12,
that
I
makes
have
sense.
12 guys, 3 guys are 6K. Yep.
I like that. So
And
Xander,
you know who one of them is. And so does Steffi.
you're really doing it?
We'll get there.
All right. On to the 9K.
I'm thinking 9K.
All right. So Sung J M withdraw before we could change the graphic, but cross off Mr. M at 9.7K. The rest of this range, Matt, is very appealing to me. Like I struggled through this, and now that Sung J has withdrawn, made it a little bit easier because, like I said, I think a lot of these guys are in a very good spot. Some guys who struggled a little bit last week. Do you have any of the guys on the left side of the board here?
I have one guy in the entire 9K range,
Okay.
actually. I did have 2. I did have Sung J M as well, but after the withdrawal. And but I don't hate the range at all. I just the way I constructed.
Yeah.
I have one guy, and it's Joaquin Neiman. Played here last year, had finished 30th. Nothing special, but we know he is familiar with the track. Dude is a birdie maker, and he leveled up his game this year. We saw him make a ton of putts at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Why do I say that? Exact same greens. We know he's familiar with that. So we know he's familiar with that. He ranks 16th and 19th in the 2 priority bucket ranges. The thing I'm a little bit worried about is the driving accuracy, but at a course that's shorter, he can pull a lot of 3-woods and hit that low fairway runner that he does, like with the driver too, but it might skirt off a little bit. Hit a bunch of 3-woods here, be in those wedge ranges, and make a ton of birdies. I love Joaquin Neiman. Bet him at 35-1, and is my only play in this 9K range. So, and I do like other guys like Seamus Power. Obviously, is very popular, but I didn't want to play a 20% Seamus Power. I'd rather play a 20% Joaquin Neiman. So one guy, I'll let you have the rest of the range because I'm just all the way on Neiman.
First, before we get to my guys, can you explain why Power's so heavily owned and touted? Because like I get that he rates out all right, but
he doesn't rate out crazy either.
But for $9,100, like if Seamus was in the mid 8s or low 8s, where he realistically could be, I still don't know how much I would have of him. I mean, 9.1 is a hefty price tag, I would say.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's what kind of player he is. He's a very accurate driver of the golf ball. He hits a ton of greens, and these are smaller greens. He hits a ton of them, and he's an amazing putter. And we saw him have success at the RSM, Pebble. Makes sense. It definitely makes sense. And we see him trending in these majors. He's made the 3 cuts in the first 3 majors, and he's like 1 over par in all 3 of them combined, which I think I saw a stat, which is crazy to think about. Only like 4 or 5 guys are ahead of him that have made all 3 cuts. So, and he's trending, and he finished 19th here last year. So I think he checks the boxes.
It's more of a price thing for me, and I feel like that could actually drive it down or lower than people are kind of thinking. I guess I don't know. I don't know if the ownership's gonna get crazy high, but I guess time will tell. So my guys, Keegan Bradley. Gross price. I'll start by saying that, but I'm still on. Led the field and approach last week at the U.S. Open Memorial. He was in the top 10 in proximity from 150 to 175, and par 4s from 400 to 450 this season. It's 11th on the PGA Tour. So Keegan Bradley at $9,400. I don't think he's going to be very popular at all given his price tag. I know he's coming in around what I'm seeing 14. Yeah, about 14%. I think it could be on the other side of 14, to be honest with you, and just because of a price tag thing like Power. In terms of leverage spots, though, give me Tommy Fleetwood. Gained the 3rd most strokes putting at TPC River Highlands since 2017, which small sample size. He's literally only played here once. He finished T13 in 2019. Before last week's U.S. Open, he made 9 straight cuts worldwide. 3 of his past 5 events before the U.S. were top 10 finishes, and 7 of his 9 were top 25s. I don't usually play Fleetwood, but given what he's able to do with the putter, gains putting from 25 plus, if you want to look at it that way, I think given his ownership and what he brings to the table, I'm actually on Fleetwood this week, a non-PGA Tour card holder.
Yeah, noted non-PGA Tour card holder.
Sponsor exemption. I can't believe he got in.
Fleetwood, he doesn't do anything for me, but I like what he had to say. If I had to pivot to someone, it'd be a 8% Tony Finau. But we saw nothing but awesomeness from him before that miscut. And he wasn't horrible on the miscut. He had that one bad, was it this Friday round was bad?
He derailed a lot of my lineups really last week. And you look this week and he hasn't budged like in terms of recent form, even obviously throws last week out of the bag, but the way he was playing and trending, I think he was playing every single week. Like you can't expect somebody to do that week in and week out. So yeah, I like Finau as well, given that price, ownership.
I don't have any Finau, but it's 8%. That's
3 straight miscuts here. Which
now I see it. Now I'm not. If he had any form, well, I mean, 25th, 17th.
Right.
And he had 3 straight missed cuts. Maybe he's due for 3. Now he's due for 3 straight top 10s.
Is he? He's never going to miss 4 straight cuts in an event, right?
I don't think so. And especially with all these withdrawals, a 9.5 Tony Finau, I might have to inquire because I have how much Joaquin Niemann do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 50% Niemann, but I like the tight core. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll sleep on it. We'll sleep on it.
Maybe a 6 a.m. change.
8K range?
8K range, yep.
All right, so this one was a little bit tougher for me. The first bet I did place was Webb Simpson at 8.5, or not 8.5. I got him at 66-1 in the betting market each way, which was like the only bet I hit last week. Each way on Hideki, but hasn't played here since 2018. Short par 70s. We know that's kind of his thing, at least back in the day. Either way, is comfortable at Pete Dye courses. Missed a cut at the U.S. Open, but before that, he was showing at least some type of form. Some of those approach buckets, he was finishing up there. I don't know how much I'll have of him at 8.5K on DraftKings. Did bet the outright, but this is almost a stay away range for me.
Yeah, since I went nothing in that 8K, 9K range. I got 3 guys in that, and I told you I have Aaron Wise. I actually bet him 50-1. After Sungjae withdrew, I switched out Wise for him, and I was kind of like wanted to go to Wise even before I took Sungjae, but I just couldn't fit him.
Yeah.
His form has just been really good. We saw him like leading the U.S. Open on like Friday, and then he did fade, but that's something. And then before that, final group at the Memorial, and 23rd at the PGA Championship, and then a 6th at the Mexico Open. And he's just ball striking the hell out of it. He's gained ball striking. Like he's popped in like 2 of his last 5 events, gaining over 7 strokes. And we know that's what he is. And it's going to be the putter. He made 2 cuts here. Doesn't really have any good finishes, but he's made 2 cuts here in his only 2 trips. And in his first trip here, he gained over 5 strokes putting. So if that could, that is just not true. He lost 5 strokes putting last year. So we know it's going to be the putter. I'm sorry about that. We know it's going to be the putter that's going to hold him back. But he's putting recently. He gained 4 strokes at the Memorial with his putter, 4 strokes at the PGA with his putter. If he's finding something like he found in the fall, I'm back on Aaron Wise. 50-1, I'll take it. I feel like we're going to get a lower number. So I'll definitely take it 50-1.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like you said, 2 missed cuts. It's nothing crazy in terms of finishes, but at least he's not missing the cut at the end of the day. I think his best golf is still in front of him. Ownership wise, he's not going to be crazy popular, but he's, right above 10%, I want to say. That's what it's looking like, at least fantasy points. We got him at 13.61%, and other spots got him at 13.2%. So somewhere in there, I think that's extremely fair. Who are your other 2 guys here?
My next guy is Denny Dirt McCarthy. The form is just awesome. And we saw him perform at a track just like this at the Wells Fargo. We saw obviously what he did last week at the PGA Championship. The U.S. Open. He was near the final group. He made the cut on the number, then finished 6th. And he was on the leaderboard on Sunday. He kind of was out of it after like hole 17 on Sunday. If he finished birdie, he was there, or like something like that. So now he's coming to a track where it's kind of suits his game a lot more. And it's not like he's doing it all with the putter. He gained 4 strokes on approach at the U.S. Open. That is awesome for Denny McCarthy. So the putter he's gained, I don't even 6, 4, 4, 5, 6 like that. But that's what he is. He's not just like a guy like a big tee to green guy who like has those pop putting weeks. He is one of the best putter in the world, maybe. So we know he's gonna roll the putts in an event. You're gonna have to score, and he's crushing the ball. He said last week was like one of the best he's ever hit his iron. So if he says he's in good form, I thought he was going to be more popular than he is, but he's not as popular as I thought. So I love that. I'll take that. I mean, it's a big jump from 6-7 last week to 8-3 this week. I know it's a different field, but he was one of my only 6K plays last week, and he really helped me out. So I love Denny McCarthy this week, driving accuracy and roll a bunch of putts. And then the last guy is Keith Mitchell. Same thing as the RBC Canadian Open. Same thing as the RBC Canadian Open. When Rory McIlroy rates out well, I play Keith Mitchell. It's simple. We saw it at CJ Cup. We saw it at Quail Hollow, and we just saw it at the Canadian Open. Played awesome. It's not rocket science. Rory rates out well. I play Keith Mitchell. Also Maverick McNeely too, but his form is bad, so I'm not playing him. But so Keith Mitchell is my third guy in this range.
Yeah, and he's I don't think going to be very popular either. The rest of this range, to be honest with you, I'm not going to have a whole lot. It just seems like some inflated prices, especially when you get into the low 9s. There's just guys that I would prefer over some of these. So not getting to a whole lot here, but like, why are they still pricing Day at 8.1?
Course history.
I want to try and talk myself into it, but I'm not. I can't do it.
Yeah, he didn't play last week, so I think he's rested. But we saw him last year. He was touched the lead on Saturday, and that was like the first time he got in the lead in like 2 years, and then he completely lost it. I was watching him on 15T holding his back, like vertigo kicked in. He was just like, I need to go home. It was bad, but like, can Jason Day really contend? We saw him contend once this year at what was that at Torrey Pines? And Farmers. Since then, that was the only time he's really contended. Can he contend at this point?
Yeah, and he didn't do anything crazy well. Like, even he's made his 4 straight cuts, and he's lost on approach in 3 of them. He's doing a lot with the putter.
Yeah, I mean, I won't not play an 8. What's his ownership coming in like? Not that it matters because I'm not even going to play him. I mean, 14%.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Is that real?
That's what I'm seeing. 14. What are you seeing?
Fantasy points, we got him at 10. Another spot I'm looking has him at 6. I guess you really don't know with Jason Day. People are all in or all out. Like, he's a name you can easily just scroll by. So,
remember at the Colonial, we really shit on the chalk Brian Harmon. I'm not going to shit on it this week. What's your thoughts on it What's your thoughts on it now, though? Because he's going to be.
I looked at my notes from last year, actually. I had whatever my motto was last year, whatever I was on, was pretty good. I had Harmon, Leishman, and Answer as like my core. Harmon last year was $8,800, and he was like 25-1. So now we're getting him in the same range. And he had come into the event last year, missing his last cut at the Travelers. But prior to that, T8, T6, 2 years. So 3 of his last 4 are inside the top 8. I don't mind Harmon whatsoever. It's more of a price thing. Like, I don't know if I can really get up there.
Yeah, I like him a lot more than we did at the Colonial last time he was chalk. I mean, at Colonial, at the Charles Schwab or whatever it was. Last time he was chalk, and we were like, no, don't play him, and he missed the cut by like $1 million. So, but I definitely can see him contending here. He's contended a bunch of times. I'm not going to take a 15% Brian Harmon though, so I'll pass on him there. But talking about
Leishman, I was on as well. Had a win back in
this week.
No, last year I was on him, and I'm trying to see why I'm not this year. It's probably a price thing again, but course history is fantastic.
He won.
Backdoor to top 15 at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, that was crazy. So did Gary Woodland backdoor to T10. That was quiet.
when you look like after, because they don't show everything, obviously, once the leaders go off, that you don't see a lot of guys. And if you're not paying attention, like on your phone, especially how bad the US Open was at covering, you don't see a lot of that. So looking at the final leaderboard, like the next day or the week after, you're like, how did Leishman finish T14? Like, I feel like I didn't see much of him, but what were you saying about Answer?
Okay, Answer last year, I bet him to win last year, and I played him in DFS. He had a 15-foot putt to make the cut for par on Friday afternoon.
I remember that.
Sunk it and then finished like third because he shot like a 66 or like 65 or 64 on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then had another great round on Sunday. He made an ace on Saturday, I think. Yeah, that was crazy. I remember him. I was sweating him to make the cut because I hate Chalk Answer. He's like one of my least favorite players. Chalk Answer sucks, but
yeah, he went 9 under on the weekend.
Yeah, I remember that was insane.
9 of his 11, 2 over the first round, and then he got to 2 under after that. But I remember that. If you wouldn't have said it, I wouldn't have. But
that was crazy.
I don't know who that guy is anymore. So let's go on to the 7K range. Towards the top of the 7K range, I'm trying to decide how much steel I want because I will have some. I'm probably.
Are you doing it?
I'm probably going to eat some of the chalk there. I'm not going to lie. These shorter par 70s are his thing. The form is there. Made 6 straight cuts, back-to-back top 10s at the Memorial T10, PGA Championship T9. Led the field at the Memorial in ball striking. He's gained off the tee in every single event this year outside of the Sony Open. So everything just checks out for the most part. I had 7 of 9. Missed the cut just 2 times here since 2013. And all 7 of those 9 were T25 or better. So if you're giving me Brendan Steele at $7,700 as my third, fourth guy in, I don't see why not.
Yeah, like I got nothing bad to say about Brendan Steele. He was 8th in my model or 7th in my model, something like that. Him and I are both members of Team Strong Grip, so I know we have that bond together. But this is like the same thing I said with Harmon at like a few weeks ago. I just hate these guys who are like below average players who are like touching 20%. Like,
yeah,
I'm just not doing it. I just cannot do it because you're not asking for a lot, but you're asking for like kind of like a coin flip because they get as much as they can have a great performance, they can have a bad performance. So
easy.
I can't do the 20% Brendan Steele. So it's not like it's a 20%.
I don't like hearing that. You can't say that.
I gotta voice my opinion. I gotta be honest. I'm not gonna say I love him.
No. Me hearing 20% Brendan Steele is just disgusting. That's all.
I don't know if we're gonna come 20%, but he probably come close.
He'll be pretty close. I think I'd be shocked if he wasn't top 5.
Yeah, top 5. Yeah, you know, it's a
strong grip bond.
Everyone knows it. You have to have the strong grip bond. You got to have your guy. So me and him, Brendan Steele, we go way back.
Didn't we go to high school with him?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did go to high school together. Now that you say it. The days we had.
My second bet of the week on top of Webb Simpson, you probably saw I tweeted it out at like midnight, so probably no one saw it actually. But Seabez was 90-1 on Bet Rivers, so I took the each way. A lot of things in terms of like putting checked out for me.
It's always going to check out with Seabez.
Yeah, it's just these types of greens. It didn't rate out that bad like over the past couple events either. And then his proximity this year from 150 to 175, he was 11th in the field.
He's hitting the ball good right now. I do like that.
He is. He's trending in the right direction and getting a guy of his, if you want to say caliber, at this price tag. What's his ownership coming in at while I got him? Because I might, 7%, 7 to.
I love that.
7 to 10. And I could see it being, I think it's going to be definitely lower than 10. I'd be shocked if he came in higher than 10%. I feel like people don't love playing Seabez when he's running cold-ish. I don't know. It's always stuck in my head when he won like back-to-back Euro events and was pushing his way up in the world ranking. Finally got his tour card and hasn't really disappointed, but he hasn't been what I had expected, I guess. So
Yeah, I like
I'll,
Seabass too.
I'll have a little bit of Seabez. Where do you stand in this?
So I went with. I told you about. No, I didn't say anyone in the 7K range yet.
Not yet.
Top guy is actually Joel Damon.
Okay.
So a little bit of it is a narrative play. A little bit of it is a course fit. We know what he does with his driving accuracy. He's very good, and he's not the longest guy, so he's coming to a track that he doesn't have to bomb away at. And then he hit the ball stupidly last week. Stupidly at the I keep saying PGA Championship at the U.S. Open. And after I saw an interview on Twitter with him, he's basically said, if I can hit the ball like this, I can contend anywhere. And I feel like that's why he's like still playing and is playing as much as he can. Similar quote to Hoagie before he won the Pebble Beach. He's basically said, I'm hitting the ball as good as I ever had in my life. I'm going to keep playing and hopefully I win soon. Joe Damon's won before. He hasn't won since the Puerto Rico last year or something like that.
Last year.
So, and he's upped his class since then by far. Like, I don't see him really winning a major, but I could definitely see Joel Damon Travelers champion for sure. So 100 to 1, bet that. And he is one of my core plays at 77, I believe. So, and then the next guy I went is Siwoo. Siwoo, Pete Dye. That's it.
End of story. That's really all you have to say.
Siwoo, Pete Dye, $7,600. Also,
Pete Dye over the last 3 seasons, he ranked second overall.
Don't overthink it. And then the final guy, I went with Doug Gim. Doug Gim, Pete Dye. I said it 2 weeks ago. We're gonna say it again. Doug Gim is my mini Pete Dye killer. He also does awesome at these Pete Dye tracks. And like I said, Doug Gim when he's in bad fields and he's like $8,500, he misses the cut. Doug Gim in better fields when he's low 7-6, he finishes 15th. And I said the same thing at the Canadian Open. Doug Gim when he's at $6,900, he finished like 15th or something or top 10. He did awesome. So, what's his ownership coming in, which doesn't really matter to me. But Doug Gim at 1%, that's so easy for me to play. So easy for me to play. I'm seeing 1.5 where I'm looking. But what is he going to be at most? 4%?
1 point. Fantasypoints.com's got him at 1.2%.
That's so easy for me to play. Pete Dye, Doug Gim. And I'm gonna also his stats are really good too. Let me quickly read them off for you.
Is this his win, Matt?
That would be awesome. I love the Game Reaper. 18th at the Canadian Open, gained 4 strokes ball striking, gained 4 strokes at the Memorial ball striking. That is awesome. From 125 to 150, 76. From 150 to 175, 50th. Total driving ranks 65th. Driving accuracy ranks 43rd, and that's on the entire PGA Tour. We know the putter holds him back, but it's the Pete Dye thing. It's really the Pete Dye thing. So Amex, all these Pete Dye tracks, players.
He popped for me over the last 8 rounds, like in my top 25, which he doesn't crack all that often. And I try and run a bunch of different time frames to see and kind of expand what I'm looking at. Number 1 in good drives gained over the last 8 rounds. So clearly coming in good form at, like you said, a Pete Dye track. And we keep getting him at like what, $6,500 to $7,200, just living in that range. So
that's when he has his performances. He's one of those guys that when he has expectations, he doesn't do well. Like when he's like 8,800 in like a alt event, something like that, he won't perform. But
my only knock on him, Matt, is he's on my season-long team, and I'm slowly trying to make those guys invisible as I can.
Not going so hot.
Well, Lowry really burned me last week, but it was due to happen.
Yeah. So I didn't bet Gam. I just took him in DraftKings.
I mean, like you said, $7,100. It's at 1%.
No brainer for me.
His upside is legit.
Top 5.
His upside is legit. He can win, but it is top 5. Like what was he? He had a top 5 of the players, right?
Yeah, he was in the. No, he didn't have a top 5 of the players. He was 10. In the final. He was in the final group and like shot like a 78. Like something stupid 2 years ago with JT. But this past players in the weather, he also did really good at I think he had a top 10. But the 2 years ago when he was in the final group. So what is it? Pete Dye. So it's rocket science. Anyone else in the 7K range for you?
Let me check
you got?
my Aaron Rye. 74 just seems like a misprice. I get that he's probably going to be fairly popular. We got him at 7% on fantasy points, which isn't crazy, but when you get down into this range, the ownership starts to kind of thin out a little bit. What else we got here? Troy Merritt's a guy I've been looking at a lot, and
Go ahead, say it.
strictly a putter guy. Like, that's what it all boils down to. But a dumb stat that I was looking at, and it is stupid because it's all not luck, but
It was like in two events.
no, not that stat. Not that stat.
Oh, not that
Um,
stat.
The 25
you gotta
plus
say that
foot
stat,
putts. I'm looking at wild stats this week just for what I think is important, because seeing like some guys lose strokes from like 5 to 10 feet putting, but gain a bunch from 25 plus. I was like,
Oh.
why are people gaining from 25 plus here? I get they're at the top of the leaderboard, but something's got to give. And guys were making them last year. Guess who's number one on the PGA Tour this season in putts from 25 plus feet? It's Mr. Merritt. 11.06%. The next guy is at like low 9%. So only guy over 10%. And you think about it, like if he's dropping one of every 10 or more from 25 plus, kind of crazy. He has decent course history here. He's made the cut 3 straight times, nothing to write home about, but he had a T8 back in 2017. Lost strokes putting last week, actually, but I'm not going to really bake that too far in, just because he was actually 12th in strokes gained approach in his missed cut at the U.S. Open last week. Third of all players who missed the cut. Obviously, you only have a 2-round sample size, but like approach was the only thing holding him back. Approach is the only thing that has held Troy Merritt back. So at $7,100 and fantasy points 0.65%, I'm gonna give him a look.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Mark Hubbard stat you said earlier, but
we'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Is he 7K? I haven't got a chance to actually log on to DraftKings, and no one's updated. Where is he priced?
I will look right now. Hubbard is not on there.
They didn't price him.
He's not. He's literally not on DraftKings right now.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the last person they didn't price had like it was like a few years back. It doesn't happen much. I'm actually shocked they didn't price him.
Yeah, he was he finished like 20th here 19th here last year, I think.
T13.
13th, yeah.
A lot of places didn't have him on the betting market.
Because he came in after someone withdrew.
JT.
Yes. No, that was Kadira.
Who was Hubbard with? Brooks? Brooks. So last night, you would think they had enough. Is Kadira priced?
I just exit. Oh, yeah.
No.
He's not?
He's not either. They're dropping the ball. FanDuel. He was Hubbard was in my FanDuel article. They're on top of it. Maybe next week we're gonna do a FanDuel show. How about that?
Yeah. It's gonna get views.
Get it together, DraftKings.
Get it together, DraftKings.
We know you're the elite DFS site, but come on. Outside of that, 7K. Grillo. We had him at the Canadian.
Yeah, he paid off for us.
T28, good enough because he was in the mid. Was he in the high 7s or high 6s?
I think he was like low 7s, I believe.
I don't even know. Yeah, he had to have been in that field, but 7th in ball striking, 5th in birdie or better, finishing just inside the top 30 to be in top 10 in those 2 categories is pretty substantial. And then Alex Smalley at 7K.
It's my guy.
Canadian Open, he was number 1 in the field in par 4 scoring from 400 to 450, 6th in overall par 4 scoring, and 5th from tee to green. And he finished outside of the top 20. So those are things that I'm looking for. I am finally going to play Alex Smalley. I played him a little bit in the fall swing, but I'm back.
Yeah, and he was there at Mexico.
What did he win this morning?
What did he win?
I saw an Alex Smalley from PGA Tour comms.
I don't know.
I don't get great connection at work. I could have been dreaming, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, he will win the Wyndham in a few weeks. but I
Winning the
don't know when.
challenge at 15.
Oh, that's
Slowly-
the hit the ball in the umbrella, I think,
Yeah.
in the water.
Oh,
You know what I'm
I'm
talking about?
all in.
Yeah, if you win that, how could you lose the event?
That's a little umbrella, so he's gonna be literally dunking these things from 125.
It's a little umbrella. Yeah, probably. I mean, it makes
All
sense.
right, 6K.
Yeah, 3 guys. You got anyone or?
I do. I said I have blindfolded myself from the guys on my season long, but the only one who I just couldn't fade at this price is Matthias Schwab. Number one in the field in procs from 125 to 150 on the season. And he ranks 12th on the PGA Tour in par 4 efficiency from 300 to 350 yards, which we're going to see basically 2 of those. A guy who has a decorated career on the DP World Tour, which is now he's at like a handful of second places. He's had some high finishes even on the PGA Tour, like the HSBC World Golf Championship or whatever. I think he had a T4 in just a loaded field. So I know with Schwab, the upside is there. We've seen it on multiple tours. Getting a guy like that at $6,500 who can hit it in these proximity buckets, and he's $500 above the minimum, like I'm all in.
Okay, I definitely like where you're going with that. Someone else who is $500 above the minimum, a guy that we have mixed emotions about, a guy that Steffi has mixed emotions about, and that's Hayden Buckley. We sold ourselves, we weren't going back to him, but what we saw last week was, I did not expect that. Very, very, very impressive. So at the core, what does Hayden Buckley do well? He drives the ball very straight, very accurate. And we just saw him gain 5 strokes ball striking. It's called riding the hot hand. I'm not overthinking it. He's already an accurate driver. He just hit the hell out of the ball. He should have a little confidence now. So $6,500. Is anyone going to be on him ownership wise? Let's look. Hayden Buckley, 3%. That's enough for $6,500. I don't care. I'll ride the hot hand. Let's go Hayden Buckley.
All right, Hayden Buckley, you're really back on, huh?
It hurts to say that I am, but I am. So, anyone else you're on in this range?
My staff picks, finishing position golfer comes in at $6,400, plus 410 to finish top 40. Another rookie on the PGA Tour, Lee Hodges.
I'm on him too. Strokes gained, Pete Dye.
Dye, Canadian Open, T48. Brush that under the rug. Finished 3rd in approach. If you finish almost outside of the top 50 and finish 3rd in approach, you're probably doing something right. So ride that into the Travelers Championship. 13th in greens and regulation at the Canadian Open. Already has a pair of top 10 finishes this year. He was T3 at the Amex and T9 at the Honda Classic. And then this season, top 5 in the field in both 125 to 150 and 150 to 175.
I was just going to say it.
So
you can't beat that.
Lee Hodges, he's flashed too. Like he's been up there. We've seen plenty of it, and seeing that the approach is back, I don't care what else he's missing. That's the biggest stat in the world. Everyone knows that.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to do much at 64. If he finishes T48 like he did at the Canadian, $6,400. He's not going to ruin your lineups.
Yeah, I love that. So that's my second guy. My last guy is it's kind of a narrative thing, kind of a stat thing. Not really a stat thing though. It's Chris Goddard again.
Yeah.
No one's gonna play him after what happened at the whatever event it was. But in his 3 events that he's played this year, he ranks out 13th in total driving on the tour. Is that a fluke? Yes, it is a fluke. I promise it is. But I DM'd him yesterday. I said, "See you on the weekend," and he liked it. So what does that mean? He's making the cut. That's all you need. $6,400. He's making the cut. But no, he is sick at golf. He's sick at golf. Haskins Award winner. You can read down the list of Haskins Award winners: Phil Mickelson, Patrick Cantlay, Justin Thomas. He's a stud. He's a stud in the making. So play Chris Goddard up this week. He's not going to be 20% again. I promise. I don't know how that happened. I'm so sorry. He's going to be less than 1%. Actually, I'm seeing him 0% owned after what happened 2 weeks ago. But he made the cut at the U.S. Open too. So
yeah, and when it says 0%, he's literally going to be less than 0.5%. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like I'll take it. I'll take it. He's making the cut.
Yeah, how could he not?
Jersey guy. Let's go.
I got one more for you.
Who's that?
And then we'll close. Andrew Novak.
Okay.
6,300. Missed the cut by 4 strokes, I believe, last week at the U.S. Open. Across the board wasn't horrible, but at the end of the day, he didn't miss the cut. Here's my stat, since I can't say it with Hubbard. T3 in par 4 Eagles. Andrew Novak. 3 total. All hole outs. Guy just slammed. If this is going to be a dunk contest, Novak's just going to slam. And you're going to be there to see it.
Par 4 Eagles. Like, what else could you ask for at TPC River Highlands? Know the correlation.
That's 100% of my model, actually.
Yeah. Okay, I like that.
He was top three in my model. So no, but for real, Novak did pop up in the last 3 months. Proximity from 125 to 150. He was 5th. And then putting from 25 plus 12th.
You're gonna have to make them. You're gonna have to make
12th in the field, and that's 60. What I say? Yeah, $6,300. I will have some Andrew Novak.
All right,
actually floated my friend Cody Ritz picks his name during our season long draft. It was like the very end. I was like, you can take this rookie, Andrew Novak. It's not that bad. He's made a couple cuts.
The name that I floated around for my season long draft that honestly I didn't like the same exact idea as you just said was Grayson Sigg, but I don't know if he's like done anything this year.
Have I sent you my season long spreadsheet?
No, is Grayson Sigg on your team?
Sig's not on my team, but it's a very deep league. It's a very deep league. So I'll send it to you after the show.
I'm going to get in the league next year.
Yeah. Make your way out to Michigan. It's a live auction.
Oh, I might come.
No, it's worth it. It's probably my favorite day of the year. I started in 2015. So I was like doing DFS a little bit before that and then just got into the season long. From a betting and DFS perspective, it's toxic, but it's also good because like you can get uncontrarian and pick guys that you normally wouldn't because you're following these guys so closely. But
is it like high stakes? Because I can get down for some high stakes. Go out to Michigan. I can get down with that.
It's worth the trip, I would say. So we'll talk, but let's do a little recap and then we'll get to our side bet. Which who do we have last week? By the way, I'm pretty sure I won.
Yeah, you did.
Luke List versus Peters, right?
Yeah.
Thomas showed up.
Thomas showed up.
Whatever he can. That's why I did it. Let's do. What do you want to do? Top 2 or? Let's just do our top 3 highest owned players of the week because with your core, it's pretty clear. We already talked through it all. Give me your top 3 highest owned golfers in terms of DraftKings this week.
Okay, Patrick Cantlay. He is in 100% of my lineups, and that's number 1. Let me count while you do your top 3. Okay.
My top 3, Patrick Cantlay is probably my 2. I haven't done percentages yet. Lee Hodges is my 3, and Tommy Fleetwood's going to be my 1. Sorry, I did that in a backwards order. Fleetwood 1, Cantlay 2, Hodges 3.
So I have PC 100%. Then I have Sam Burns and Waco 50%. And the 6K guys are all pretty highly owned, but when I literally have 12 guys in 20 lineups, so everyone's going to be super highly owned. I didn't touch on that many guys like I usually do. So like everyone I touched on this week, I'm pretty confident in. And Like, you guys know what I'm doing. I'm trying to build a really, really tight core. If we hit, we're going to cash huge. Like, we hit at the Canadian Open, we cashed pretty big. Like, I made multiple $100s at the Canadian Opens off of $60 entry. So if this core hits 10 out of 12 hits, we're in business. So I'm not spreading myself out. Hopefully, I have a few stray lineups. I want to have 15 lineups in the top 200 on Sunday. Like, that's the type of vibe I'm going for. So
Right.
tight core is more risky, but it's worth it if you do pay off.
All right. Side bet. You pick it this week.
Side bet. Okay, let's rock. Let me look real quick.
Yeah. We gotta
Okay.
get something going here.
A range that we didn't. Okay.
And if, by the way, if you give me his range, I'm gonna pick him. That's all I'm gonna say. But I think you know who it is.
Oh, I don't, but like maybe
It would be the same as last week.
Oh, so Ricky Fowler.
Yeah.
What am I? Yeah. Okay. All right. I know what. Okay. 65 to 7. You can hit 7 too. So 65 to 7.
Okay.
You got two guys snake draft. Actually, no. 1 7 guy and 1 65 guy. That's the thing. So you're taking Fowler. I already know that.
1 7 and 165. Okay.
Yeah, that's very unique.
So do you want to lead it off?
Yeah, I'll lead it off. I'll take
Okay.
my 7 guy. Oh my God, you're gonna take Fowler. Maybe, I don't know.
Wait, we don't even really have to do this because I know what 6'5" guy you're taking.
No, you don't.
Well, yeah.
No, it's someone else.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna take Alex Smalley then.
Okay, and I will take
You get 2.
Ricky, and I'm gonna go down to 65 and take Schwab.
Okay, thanks. I'm happy you didn't. I'm taking Doc Redman.
Okay, so we got Schwab and Fowler versus Redmond and Smalley. That's actually pretty good, pretty volatile. Don't play him in DFS, everyone. This is a side bet.
This is a side bet. We're gonna
do not play in DFS.
This is high stakes side bet, so I would not.
Unless you want a Doc Redmond W.
Yeah.
But outside of that, good luck everyone this week at the Travelers. Matt's gonna have boots on the ground. Make sure to follow Fantasy Points PGA on Twitter. Get some live action. Hopefully Gotterup shows up for Matt this week. Matt, good luck. Have fun out there, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I will. We will keep in touch over this weekend. Hopefully we're sweating some bets together. And have any questions, you know how to find Dom and I. Best of luck this week. Hope everyone has a good weekend.
See ya.